Hey everybody, welcome back to the final game of Jaraci Cup 13. This is the lower bracket finals. Been a fun time, but unfortunately all good things must come to an end, eh? This is going to be played between AreKharak and Void Warrior. It's a best of 7 series, of course, and I'm excited to see this one. I think AreKharak has been doing really well recently. I mean, actually stupendously well, given this is like his second tournament ever. Here he is in the lower bracket finals, and I think easily the favorite to win. Void Warrior, a player coming from RM, he's been improving by leaps and bounds as well. This is also his second tournament. We'll see what he's able to do here against AreKharak. Right now it looks like a base runner retires, so that tells me he's already learning builds, which is pretty hype. And we see LAV Fab started for AreKharak here. This map here is going to be, who's picked now? It looks like AreKharak bans Galzian Territories, Void Warrior bans Kartoba, and he's going to pick the Boneyard. So Void Warrior probably wishing he'd gotten the other spawn. This is a really good railgun rush map if you get that spawn, but I don't know. We've never seen Void Warrior do that build before, so perhaps that was not going to be the game plan ever. And right now, it looks like it's going to be Sandskimmer focus. He has a lot of guys on CUs, but we'll keep our eyes on that. One thing that can be kind of fun about watching the lower tier players here is that you never quite know what build they're going to go for, so I mean, it looks like it should be Sandskimmers, but he hasn't started the tech yet, so perhaps it's getting... Oh no. Oh no. He's long distance mining RUs, but he doesn't have any RU miners on his main. Oh dear. I mean, you're always going to get RUs faster if you mine them for your main, where they don't have to move, right? So this is not the play. RM things, man. Like, if this was a carrier, to be able to take resources already, you wouldn't need the RU miners on the mothership, right? Oh well, that's just how it is. LEV armor finishes for AreKharak here. This is kind of his typical go-to. Again, I really don't think this is a terribly good build. He's been able to get quite a lot of value out of it, but against like higher tier players, you're gonna run into the problem that your opponent just gets too PC and overwhelms you with numbers. And the armor upgrade is like, well, it's twice as valuable if you have twice as many units, right? So getting that production upgrade first is actually going to be very, very powerful. It works in this kind of scenario where your opponent doesn't have many units, right? But if that's not the case, then you're just kind of going to die to it, so. Ref mode's on the way for Void Warrior here. He has He's fixed his eco, which is good. And Railgun Fab started, Sandskimmer Fab started for him as well, so he will have some defense as well, you would hope. Here come the LEVs though. AreKharak is not going to wait too long. One thing I've always loved about DOK is that combat can start at like the 1 minute mark. This is going to be at like 3 minutes, which is a little bit later, but still pretty early. He's not going to be waiting at all. And this salvager here is probably already dead. There is one Sandskimmer, but it looks like that one's not going to be long for this world. If I were Void Warrior right now, I'd be bringing my PC back to the carrier and then powering up the range system. That's a good way to kind of try and stop yourself from dying here. Uh-oh, you really can't stand still, though. Again, you're not in RM anymore. Because, like, you know, interceptors won't kill a carrier like that in RM, but that's kind of like the analogy here. Except Strikecraft really can kill a PC. That's kind of the reason why these DOK attacks are so much more deadly, because you're threatening a lot right now. This is like, you know, this is potentially game-ending damage, actually. If that PC falls, I think that Void Warrior's chances in this game drop to about 0, so keep your eye on that. It's getting low, down to 300. Yeah, that PC is gonna die. And if you're AreKharak, good, very good. You know, you're very, very happy with this game state. Railgun Fab is finishing here. You might even be able to just cancel everything, go for carrier power, and just drive up and end it with the spawn carrier, but he is going to play it the typical way. He goes for railguns here, and I think that's a fine strategy to end the game here. Void Warrior, though, to his credit, has built another PC, which is excellent timing because he just lost one. But these long-distance miners are going to be short for the world. And down they go. Here, I think it would be pretty powerful to get power 1. Get it, right? Because here to be able to power up the weapons and the range, which makes it a little bit easier to fight off these marauding LAVs. But make no mistake, the game is not in a good position, but Void Warrior can come back. I mean, we've seen people like come back from positions like this, so What I would do if I were him is build a second PC, because then you'll be able to fight off the LAV blob using like sand skimmers of your own. He's getting a soul chip tech though. That's not bad either. Soul chips will be able to fight LAVs pretty fine. Only problem is that the follow-up is going to be railguns here, but one thing I always recommend if you build assault chips to fight LAVs though is to get that armor 1 tech. Looks like Voidware is going to not opt into that. But still, assault chips will trade much better into this than sand skimmers will. Oh, you want to be careful taking this fight now though, because you can still lose it. Uh-oh. Oh dear, sand skimmers are just kind of bleeding out here as they don't have the range to fight back. Here comes that first assault chip now, but the sand skimmers are all feeding in, and now this assault chip being on its own, it will not be able to fight these LAVs, so you want to be really careful about how you play this. Looks like Interceptor Fab coming out for Voidware. Actually, that's pretty good, because he will be fighting railguns pretty soon. I don't think that the Interceptors will be ready in time, though. So this will probably still hurt quite a lot. Yeah, here come the railguns already. And once the armor break is on the assault chips, these LAVs really just chew them up. I mean, you can see it actually has 0 armor right now. And health-wise, it only has like 300 more than an LAV, so like imagine these things dying as fast as skims, right? Yeah, not good. So, yeah, indeed, Voidware understands this dynamic. He's gonna GG out right here. And that's a very swift victory for game 1 of this best of 7. That's how AreKharak wants to start this out. 6.5 minutes, he does take the game. So let's jump into game 2. If I can load that one up here. It's going to be on the shallows, it looks like. Uh-oh, faction switching. That's actually not allowed, but, you know, lower bracket, things happen. This is going to be on the shallows. He picked this against Houston as well. I guess I'm not exactly sure why, because this doesn't really seem like an AreKharak kind of map, you know? What he really loves to do is these, like, railgun and AAV spam type of games, and this is a map where it's not quite so easy to get away with that sort of thing. You'd really like to be playing on, like, a more open map, like Kartoba, say. Shallows is a map where, I mean, to be fair, this is definitely like a railgun map in the sense that it has these great rocky outcroppings here for the railguns to play on, but like the tactic that AreKharak likes is to just kind of drive into your opponent with like macro basically. It's not really about the unit positioning. He just likes to get more numbers and win that way. And so in that sense, I think you want to find a map that is a little bit easier to engage with the railguns. Whereas this map is actually very defensive, right? Like these are all really good defensive railgun positions and not really very good aggressive ones. So LAV Fab is done for AreKharak. This is his typical go-to, of course. Oh, I haven't put the carry on group 1 here for Voidware, but it looks like it's going to be ref mode a lot faster this time. Happy to see the adaptation. And like I said, Voidware is very new to DOK as well, so it's honestly very heartening to see somebody starting to learn this quickly. Rec is going to be opened here. And ref mode is only about 30 seconds out, so he will have that pretty quickly. Gotta say, on this map, feels like that's the way to play it, right? I mean, this is a very defensive map. I really like seeing players go ref mode here because it just seems like the right idea. Sandskimmer Fad starts though, he's not gonna be too greedy. This is actually, excuse me, the traditional hiccups are back. This is actually a pretty greedy start, I will say. He's got 9 salvagers here. Normally we do this with like 6 before we get Sandskimmer Fad started. But he's not being ridiculously greedy, where you get like 2 PC or something like that. Sandskimmer Fab done. You imagine he'll build one of these pretty quickly. Yep, there it is. And he should be alright. But AAV Fab coming out for AreKharak, that actually is a pretty good answer to that. Because, you know, Sandskimmers don't do very well into AVs, obviously. And if you can get these out fast enough, he actually will really do some damage to his opponent. This is not a very fast AV rush, though, because he does have quite a lot of LAVs here, but he can actually try and take some fights in the early game, so it looks like we're going to be engaging once again at the 2.5-minute mark or so, just kind of like last game. Bit of high ground here for Void Warrior this time, though. I would actually love to see him use the det packs here, but looks like for now they're going to trade 1-for-1. Uh-oh, you don't want to leave the high ground, though. You want to keep that. Uh-oh, jumps off of the high ground, and actually now AreKharak has it against him. This is again why I think it's great to like pull the PC back when the fight starts, because then you can be building your units like close to your carrier and up on the high ground. And now, I think Void Warrior will not make that same mistake as last time. Yeah, he's going to move the PC right away, so he doesn't want to lose this, this PC. Missile's going to power up for him as well. No salvagers went down, PC didn't die. This is actually a lot less bad than last time. And he can move the PC to this side and bring the carrier up to the second, so it's not going to be as bad as you would expect, but still, this is not exactly a shining start for a Void Warrior. Looks like AreKharak is actually focusing on eco a little bit, but I imagine he'll build those AAVs pretty soon, which he has teched. We'll see what Void Warrior's tech is going to be, but it looks like assault ships might be the game plan. This is what he did last game, of course. Yep, assault ship tech on the way. This is what you love to see, though, right? Like, AreKharak sees, okay, the carrier came over to the second, I can just wrap around over here. And in general, I would say when you're getting rushed, you can assume that your opponent is on one base. In this case, AreKharak has actually made it up to 2, but for a time, it is not bad to go back to one base yourself and just hold off the rush. Otherwise, this kind of thing can happen to you. With Salvager det packs, he may still be able to make this play work, but he hasn't used any of those yet, so I don't expect we're going to see them here. Yeah, and the LAVs are just trading so efficiently right now because they're able to... I mean, Lancaster Saw is in effect, obviously, but not only that, he's outranging most of the damage from these skins. Here comes a cruise missile shot. We're not quite gonna land. If this was Houston, he would have just killed everything, right? Houston really is so good with those missiles. Yeah, these LAVs are doing some good damage here because, again, they're pulling the carrier back. They actually got a salvager kill, they denied a bit of mining, and they're trading out these sand skimmers, so the game state is staying more or less static, where AreKharak is always kind of ahead here. This is what you want to see. This is some very good LAV play. Oh, he almost gets the sand skimmer too, but it leaves it actually on 18 HP, which is a bit too bad. But here come the AAVs, and this is where things kind of start to crumble for Void Warrior. He doesn't have the resources to build an assault ship right now either, which is really too bad. And these salvagers are expensive in Jaraci too, mind you. I mean, this is no small thing to be losing these. Oh gosh. Another one's gonna fall here. He's actually not really responding to this at all on the main. I don't actually like the LAVs jumping up right now because he knows the carrier's still here. So these LAVs are going to fall before too long, but the big deal is down here on the second base where all of the salvagers are wiped now, except for this one, which is going to fall in just a moment. And this PC could well die too. I mean, this is 4 AVs. That's no small amount of damage. Second extraction too, and AreKharak loves to do this. He just keeps the clock running on his opponent, and I love to see it. You know, this is good play. PC is going to die here, I suspect. It down it goes. Bit of smoke as well to keep the AVs alive. I don't like throwing them all at the same time, but it is nice to see that ability being used. He'll pick off as many salves as he can, and then he'll just kind of run away. And look at this, he's back up here on the main base with the LAVs too. This feels horrible if you're Void Warrior. It's just so hard to keep up with this. And this is like a textbook aggression for like Jaraci patch, right? Where you really can't dive onto that carrier, so what you do instead is just attack wherever he isn't and just pull him back and forth, back and forth. It's like that's how you manage to get the jump on your opponent like this. And you can see even now he's pushing back in where he thinks that carrier will leave, but the LAVs are giving him vision that he actually hasn't moved with this carrier, so he's gonna go back up here with the AAVs. Fighter and gunship teching as well. You love to see it. I hope we see some bombers. That would be really fun. We'll see though, AreKharak has a lot of options to continue. I mean, it kind of feels like there's no wrong answer here. AV tech is done by the, or sorry, assault ship tech is done by the way for Void Warrior, but he hasn't built any of them yet. I feel like it wouldn't really help him too much at this game state, to be honest with you. Sandskimmer is just gonna get eviscerated over here. If indeed Sandskimmers do have bowels. Smoke is available again. I would like to see that being used. Yep, there it is. And it looks like this time he fancies the dive. Yeah, you can see why. I mean, he's gonna kill everything over here. Another smoke being used. Yeah, look at this. He's smoking very well this time. And it looks like that carrier is going to explode here. That is Void Warrior choosing to GG out. Unfortunately, you're not going to see any bombers. Actually, it looks like he was building a double gunship, which is kind of funny. Ouch. Let's move into game 3 now, but AreKharak is taking some big leads here. Which game 3 is going to be on Canyon Outpost. This is Void Warrior's pick. Again, the pick order isn't correct, but it's whatever. Something on the bottom of my cup here. Can't tell what that is. Anyway. Oh, does he smoke? Does he smoke? Always smoke the base runner when you retire, my friends. Obviously, the joke is it makes no difference. In fact, I've learned recently you can see that through Fog of War, so you actually maybe are not supposed to do it because it tells your opponent what you're doing, which is unfortunate, but... LAV Fab here for AreKharak. No surprises there. This time, though, it looks like we are going to see things being switched up a bit by Void Warrior. I like it. If you've lost twice in a row on the same strategy, I think it's a good idea to just mix things up. Say, like, okay, this isn't working, let's see what we can do. I mean, obviously, you never want to be, like, reactive in a series, but at the same time, you don't want to just lose trying the same thing over and over again. So, I think this is the right play. He's going to mix things up, and we do have Sandskimmer Fad starting instead. And I would actually love to see just early assault chips, because he knows that that's what his opponent has always been doing, is these LAVs. So, you know, you get the counter unit pretty quickly, you're probably going to feel good about it. For now, it looks like Sandskimmer is being built, but he'll have the money for the assault chip tech here pretty soon if he wants it. Not sure if Void Warriors realized, by the way, but if you set a rally point onto a rec or onto a resource node, you can set a rally point only for eco units. Uh-oh, it's ref mode. So I think the problem with this is that if you're going to go for Sandskimmer tech at the beginning, actually now your opponent could go eco and the burden is on you to get something done. This particular tech order will work if your opponent is attacking you and you happen to know it, but it's not really a good idea to bank on that. And I would instead suggest if you get Sandskimmer tech, you get some kind of unit tech and do some attacks instead. And indeed, he'll wish he had that money invested somewhere else right now, but he can get a assault chip tech right now if he wants it. I think that would be the play. And this PC is taking damage though, jeez. Sandskimmer is going to be pulled to try and deal with this, but the focus fire isn't there, so he's actually going to lose one for nothing. Maybe even a second here. But still, assault chip tech is available. I would really be going for that right now. Uh-oh. This salvager here finds himself in the wrong neighborhood. I would really make sure you pull away this long distance miner too, because you don't want to just drive him into his death here. Yep, he's gonna notice that one. But assault chip tech was not picked up here, and now he's got like he's ready with the answers to these LEVs, but he didn't pull the trigger, which is really too bad. Oh no, the Sandskimmer here is gonna die too, perhaps. No, it looks like he will get away. And actually, he manages to. Oh, this guy gets away with 1 health. Are you kidding me? That feels pretty bad. I didn't realize LEVs actually do a lot more damage per shot than skims do. And skims have more health, I guess. That's an interesting balance there. Second PC finishes, though, for Void Warrior. I like this. Now he can outdo his opponent's Strikecraft numbers and jump on him. This is, I think, what he needed to be doing before. And last time we saw that AreKharak was able to come in with AVs, he actually does have that tech, so, you know, he may build those later, but this is a better look for Void Warrior, I think, than we've seen so far. And actually, right now, he even does outnumber his opponent already, so... You know, he might be able to jump on him. There's no assault pack or anything. These LAVs will get run down if the skims choose to chase. The question is whether or not they can win that fight. I think that they actually probably can right now, especially with these health bars being low. Even a spot of high ground helping him out here. He gets 1, he gets 2, he's lost 2 already, but I think now with the health bars being low, he will actually take this trade pretty convincingly. Oh, no, no! Oh, don't stop! Oh, he had this... Okay, looks like he still does. Good, good. And I see that Armor 1 just finished as well. Only problem is, AVs are on the way, so he needs to have some kind of a choice to deal with these. There's another reason why Assault Jets would be great here, right? Because, you know, they can fight the LAVs, but they can also fight whatever may come after it, so... Looks like it's gonna be Railguns instead, though. That'll do even better. He just has to make sure that he has some out. And in the meantime, you may want to just yield some ground once he sees these AVs. You know, in DOK, losing, like, infrastructure and units can be very punishing, so it's better to lose the ground than it is to lose the units. I think that's really the... Because, you know, if you lose the units, you'll lose both, right? So, when he sees these AVs, I would just run. Like, I think you can't win this anymore, so just try and get out of there. Oh dear, the PCs really need to have been going already. Uh-oh, he's gonna try and fight this. This really can't work. The armored unit? Oh my gosh, they have armored too. Yeah, right now the skims are doing 2 damage per shot, which is really just nothing. So these AVs will just clean everything up right now. Smoke popped even for good measure, but I don't even really think he needed it. Skims all go down here. Okay, now there's a railgun, but it's kind of popping into a bad spot. Armor 3 just finished as well. Yeah, and that assault railgun is not going to be long for this world. Down it goes. Even another smoke for good measure. You love to see players using that ability. And this PC is going to be the target now. This will fall. If he wants it, that is. He could change the focus onto this assault railgun right now. That might even be the play. But he's going to get that PC. And already the blow is pretty severe, but it looks like he wants to even push this further. And let's see what this follow-up is going to be. Looks like he's moving up onto 3 base right now. And then we'll probably just see railguns. This is kind of the AreKharak way. Yeah, these AVs are just absolutely marauding right now. And you don't usually get away with this in Jaraci, but as you can see, like, if you don't respond to the unit, or sorry, to the push by yielding the ground here, this is exactly what I mean. You end up just kind of losing everything. So it's really best to just give up that 3rd base for a time, try and keep the salvagers alive, and then it's actually not going to be as big of a blow later. And, like, these AVs could die right now for no extra value and AreKharak would still be happy, but they're still alive, and it's not even clear how you're gonna kill them here, you know, this is horrifying. This is the meat grinder, which I've talked of so many times. Where units are just kind of jumping out to die for, like, expressly that purpose, you know what I mean? It feels terrible. It's artillery! Oh, okay, I love it. He is gonna change things up a little bit. Artillery's fun, man. It's a good answer to railguns, too. Again, this is one of these situations where AreKharak could do anything and still win, but I like the style points, you know? Artie is done, no? Well, the tech, that is. Dodges the missile, very nice. That's actually a heavy railgun. Oh, that's so expensive. Heavy rails are really expensive in Jaraci, you know, so it feels kind of bad to lose one like that. I wouldn't ever try and build a heavy railgun into duress like that. I mean, assault railguns are much less expensive and might be able to survive better, so... Indeed, I think, like, if you take the theoretical, like, a unit that doesn't have any armor, which these AVs do, right, but, Not that much. The DPS of an assault railgun is actually higher anyway, so it's like, really assault railguns are kind of the answer in this scenario. Heavy railguns just have the range, it makes them easier to use. And, you know, Sandscreamers do more damage with the armor break being on, but... yeah, assault railguns really fight very well into units like this. Probe comes out here, it's gonna scout that carrier. Checks out this 2-base location as well. Needs to be a little bit careful he doesn't just die instantly to the PCs, but... AreKharak has got, you know, really good vision here. He knows what he's up against. He's got a lot of carrier power. He's actually teching power 3 right now, which is called Systems 2 in Jaraci. 2 artillery cruisers on the field as well. This should be a pretty easy game-ending push here, and that would bring us to the potential match point, so... Salvager's gonna fall over here. And artillery starts raining in on that main base location. You can see the barrage being used here. And yeah, Void Warrior is going to choose this moment to surrender. He sees the writing on the wall. And that's going to be that. We move up onto match point now, and this is looking dangerous for Void Warrior, that's for sure. It's going to be on Tauren Crater. Whose pick was this? This was AreKharak's pick. This does seem like an AreKharak map, doesn't it? Very, very long open spaces, right? Great terrain for the AVs to jump out of and bite people, but also the railguns have some really good utility here. This is a map that actually is very good for assault cruisers, but we haven't really... Oh, that's interesting. I noticed there were 2 Tauren Crater replays. I guess the first one, like, sync errored, and then they have a second one here. Curious. Curious. One thing I will say, Conf is very strong on this map with the Conf Siege, but you know, you don't get the feeling that that's been very impactful so far. I mean, we've never seen AreKharak actually survive to like tier 3 units, so... LEV Fab, no surprises here. I guess my big question is what Void Warrior is going to go for. Because AreKharak has been playing pretty similar all of these games so far. The Salvager here is literally running circles around this carrier. Looks like this is ref mode first. I like the adaptation though. Look how he's got the 5 salvagers on the main and then 2 over here on the second. Delicious. Although he's actually kind of overbuilding now. Oh, I take it all back. Alas. But this has got to be ref mode, right? I mean, I don't see him doing this if he was going to build anything else. Sorry for this clicking noise. I'm like playing around with my headphones, which are kind of cracked at some point. I should stop doing that. Ref mode gonna be picked here for Void Warrior. And all is quiet so far. AV Tech being picked for AreKharak. We've seen this before. Those are some big freaking mountains over there. Oh my gosh. I never quite realized that before. If you look on like Kalash Teeth, if you look out to the outside, there's just like, there's nothing there. It's just completely like open blue, you know? I didn't realize Storm Crater seems to be like in a valley of its own. It's interesting. Looks like a Soul Chip tech on the way for Void Warrior. But he may find himself under attack before too long here. This is a good looking game, man. Nice missile, wow. Okay, he gets a really good hit right off the bat here. This is no armor on the LAV, so the skims theoretically can fight pretty even in this position. Again, would love to see the depth packs here from the salvagers, but he's managing to trade okay here. I still think that AreKharak has the numbers right now, though. We're not really in range for another missile hit either. Oh no, he's not building anything off the PC. Uh-oh. Yeah, it's gonna kind of void his defender's advantage here. And again, AreKharak is managing to do some damage to the base. Here comes the missile. Doesn't really quite get anything done there. Actually, this is in range though, so I'll take that back. Power 1 is done for Void Warrior, so I'd love to see him power up the mobility and just try and get these guys out of here. Here's an Assault Chip though. And that should even things up. Yeah, okay. I was like, you don't want to move this guy out of the fight right now, but still, 2 salvagers die over here as well as all the skims. AreKharak is very, very happy with this. And he's on 2 base himself. He does have AV tech done, he's getting the armor, so he'll be moving this into its later stages. I really like how AreKharak is always extracting here, by the way. I mean, it's not usually the most effective thing to keep the base winner these days in the meta, but if you're gonna do it, this is what you want to do, right? Keep that thing alive, and then just be extracting constantly, and make your opponent, like, not only answer your plays here, but say, yeah, by the way, as you're doing that, I'm gonna be getting artifacts out underneath your eyes here, or your nose, or what do you say? I can't remember what the expression is. But the point is, you know, you're sneaking these things out. Eventually this adds up to quite a lot of pressure. I really like to see that. Here he'll lose some LAVs, though. He didn't manage to kill any salvagers, so AreKharak is going to be... Or, sorry, Void Warrior is going to be happy with this one. And he does move up onto 3 base as well, but here come the AVs. Con of Siege! Okay, this time he does have that on the way. Here's armor 3. So, for the time being, actually Void Warrior has armor 2 himself, but these AEVs are very, very strong. But when Con of Siege comes out, that really changes everything, so, you know, keep your eyes on that. Eventually we'll see railguns, because it's AreKharak, you know. Oh, does he actually already have the tech? He does, okay. But Con of Siege can fight that too, so this will be kind of a... Well, okay, this is actually pretty bad if he loses this PC. Okay, he's got to jump this over the dune here. Because this is starting to look like kind of the best look that Void Warrior has had so far, but he needs to keep this thing alive. Oh boy. He's not microing this this PC at all. Excellent smoke there, cuts off the Soul Chips entirely. And that PC is going to fall, dang. Yeah, and AreKharak gets away with it again. He sees he can't take this fight though, so he's gonna choose to back out of this one. But 1 for 3 plus a PC, yeah, not bad at all. You'll take that any day. That's production lines getting lost. That's eco getting lost, and you're happy when that happens. Not to mention, this is bad timing because Voidwarrior wants to be building Con of Siege right now. He doesn't want to be, excuse me, he doesn't want to be building another PC, but he kind of has to, right? Again, Railgun Tech is done. We'll see when that gets built. He's already got Mag Excel, so you know you'd kind of want to see it be done right now. But there it is. And this carrier is going to start getting mobilized. These are spawn rails again, so you know that's pretty deadly. Again, players are actually not supposed to change faction during a series, but whatever. It's lower bracket, you know, things happen. And Voidwarrior actually getting quite a lot of carrier power, which is interesting. Right now, I'd say it's AreKharak who's kind of moving more towards like a win condition of his. I mean, right now, like units-wise, this is fine for like both sides, but it's AreKharak who has control of the field. He's the one who makes his opponent come to him with the artifacts, and Voidwarrior is just totally going to be on the defense for some time now. So. Gonna keep this base runner alive. It does kind of a sick power slide over there. And that will reveal the railguns for AreKharak. If I were him, I would stop move this carrier so you don't reveal it as well. It looks like it's not going to be seen though. He does manage to stop it from getting scouted. Here comes this Con of Siege. So, this thing's reveal has to be really, really strong, and right now it's in some bad terrain, right? This is all really, really open. You want this Con of Siege cruiser out here where it can utilize its indirect fire. Uh-oh! It's gonna jump in, like, right here, just in the middle of everything. Yeah, this is gonna die, like, instantly. Oh, dear. Con of Siege cruiser goes down, which is not good. These assault ships are in like the position where the Con of Siege really wants to be, which is good, but now that the Siege Cruiser is dead, things look pretty bad. There might be another one on the way, though. Not really any reason to tech Sandstorm or Armor here. I think the Siege Cruiser range or EMP would be a lot more impactful. Oh gosh, that's a lot of railguns. This is what AreKharak does, right? He's good at it. He's got 10 railguns here. They don't have AoE, but they'll kill this blob really quickly anyway. Yeah, Voidwarrior knows, and he's just gonna GG, and that will be game 4 of this best of 7 series. AreKharak with a real clean 3-0, he'll be happy with that. And I guess that concludes Jaraci Cup 13. Well, thanks for watching, guys. It's always fun to check out some lower bracket games, a little bit more chill than the Calamity, which happens up in the upper bracket. And we should be organizing our next tournament pretty soon here, so keep an eye on the tournament announcements channel to be updated for that. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.